Oh, hello there. I didn't see you. Come with me, and I'll take you on the journey of personalized label making. Come with me, and you'll see a world of custom label making. Hey there, my name's Hayden from Cricut, and today I'm going to show you how to quickly and easily make fun customized labels for everyday organization. To start, we're going to use our Cricut Explorer 3, and we're going to be using smart vinyl, transfer tape. We have a couple little accessories I'll show you as we go through the process. I thought it'd be fun to make some labels for my kitchen. So I've got this jar right here. We got a couple other jars. We're going to make a couple labels. And I'm going to show you how to do it. It's a couple quick steps. We got Design Space, which is Cricut's software. It's the space you go to design, hence the name. You can browse projects, but we're going to start from a blank canvas, and it's super easy. I'll show you how. Then we're going to take our material, put it in the machine, make sure our tools are good to go, and I'm going to use the software to send the design to the Explorer 3. And then after we're done cutting, I'll show you how to assemble it and apply it to your jar. So we're going to start off with a blank canvas. And if you look over here on the left-hand side, there's a couple options. We're just going to select images. And you see here there's 300,000 images, over 300,000. That's a lot to go through. So I think I'm just going to go to all images here in the top left. I think the easiest thing for me to do is to look in image sets. And basically, an image set is just a collection of like images, different themes, different art styles. It gives you a nice sense of uniformity, which when you're making multiple labels or like we're doing today, really helpful to have continuity there. I'm going to be doing these labels for my kitchen. I'm just gonna look up pantry label. Pantry labels, okay. I'm gonna scroll through here until I find something I like. And if you notice here, in each of these image set options and even on the images themselves, you see this little green flag. That just means it's part of Cricut Access. You can use Cricut Design Space to make whatever you want and upload any images you want. However, we have Cricut Access as an option that gives you access to a lot of images, tons and tons of images, fonts, projects, which just expands the possibilities and things that you can make. Kind of looking here specifically at the labels, I know I have 3 jars. I'm gonna make one for flour, one for tea, and coffee. Oh, there it is, coffee. Yeah, let's do that. That's a good start. I've selected a couple of images and they come in at different sizes on Canvas. The great thing about Canvas is it gives you flexibility to edit and resize and basically make the design how you want. When I'm thinking about applying these to my actual jars, I'm actually going to want to measure my jar so I have a frame of reference to know how big to make the label. So I've got this jar right here. Looks like I'm just about 6 inches. And so it's going to probably be best if I do a 5.5 inch label. Because with a curved surface, it's going to look really nice. So over here, just looking at the images I have, coffee is the widest one. And so I'm gonna base all my designs off of that 5.5 inch measurement because it's the largest image. So I just go up here to size, I typed in 5.5 and hit enter. And I'm gonna size up the rest of my images to match this coffee image, this coffee label. And that's just because I want visual uniformity. I'm using this white vinyl over here. I'm just gonna select all these images. I'm just dragging and selecting all these images, and I'm gonna go to this color swatch. I'm gonna select white, and that's gonna change that. The only reason I'm doing that is when I hit make it, I'm gonna be able to visualize how these look on the material before I actually cut. I'm gonna select without matte. All of my labels are previewing here on my material. And so I'm just gonna space these out because I know I'm going to wanna cut these out individually later for easier application. I'm gonna hit continue down here. And then I'm gonna pair with my Explorer 3. So I'm all connected Design Space walks you through the steps on how to make this. You have to select your material first. So I'm going to come here in Design Space and I'm just going to select Smart Vinyl Removable because that's what it says on the back of this material. The second step here is telling me to load the fine point blade, load the material, and press the load button. I come over to my machine and I look and I've got my fine point blade loaded and my load button's flashing, which means I just need to insert my material here. So it's got these guides here on the front of the machine. Sometimes that gets bunched up, but that's all right. You've got these two guides right here that you want to make sure your material is loaded underneath. And you go all the way up against the roller here. So I'm just going to hold that in place and this flashing load button is ready to be pressed. What this is doing right now is it's just taking in the material to make sure that there's enough for the entire cut. Looks like we're good to go. The flashing go button is ready to be pressed. So 3, 2, 1. The Bluetooth, the whole tooth, and nothing but the tooth. All right, it's done. We've got the flashing unload button. I'm going to press that. I'm going to inject the material. The way that I've found easiest to tell where the end of my design is cut is just to kind of fold the material against the light, and I can start to see where the cut lines are. And that gives me a good sense of where to trim this. I'm going to feed this all the way through. And the great thing about this Cricut trimmer tool is it just gives me a nice straight line. So here's my cut piece. I've got an extra piece to cut later. Here we have our design already cut out from the machine. What we need to do now is we need to remove all this excess material. People do it in different ways. We have a weeding tool, and weeding just means to remove. People remove vinyl or iron-on or paper, depending on the intricacies of the design and what you're doing. We'll save this for the finer, smaller bits. What I like to do is actually, when I know there's a lot of big area of material I need to remove, I just use my finger and I find the edge and I start to pull it off until I see my design start to reveal. So I found where my design is cut, and I'm just going to remove this material gently to expose. All right. So you see here it's starting to tear a little bit. It's fine. This is the part we're going to remove anyway. So I'm going to get my weeding tool in here and just kind of use that finer point to make a finer point. Such a dumb joke. I'm going to stop right here and put this down. I'm going to get my scissors. I'm just going to remove all of this material that I've already pulled off, so I don't need it. Because of the nature of this design, there's smaller pieces that need to come out of these images, like on the coffee beans or on the leaf. Inside the letters is where we want to focus next. So I'm just taking the point of the weeding tool. Nailed it, or weeded it. We have all of our labels cut and weeded. So we are ready to apply transfer tape. So we've got transfer tape here, and just as the name says, use it to transfer your designs with. So what I want to do is I want to make sure I have enough transfer tape for the layout of my designs. So I'm going to bring back over my trimmer, and I'm going to slide this through. This can be a little difficult just because it comes in a roll, but you know what? It's fine. You just unroll it and slide it through. I'm just going to eyeball this, make sure I have enough. The purpose of the transfer tape is you want to make sure you have enough covering where your actual design is. You don't necessarily need to match the backer. All right, so I've got enough transfer tape here. Sometimes, if you're having difficulty, you move to the other edge of the material and you slide, and voila. I'm going to get my finger under here and I'm going to remove it from the backer, but I'm only going to remove a little bit. This is a method I like to use. I find this is the easiest way to apply transfer tape, is just to take a little bit of the edge, see how the rest of the back are still on there. And I just apply this to the top, a little bit over the top of my design. And I want to make sure that I'm covering all of the cut vinyl design. And I just push it down. Make sure that that is applied. And then I just hold it here where it's curling up, and I pull the backer to cover the rest of my cut area. And as you can see here, I got a little transfer tape over the edge, but that's fine. The point is you want to make sure you cover all of your labels. Now that we have this, I find that it's super helpful to get out all the air bubbles. So I'm just gonna take the scraper. Cricut has 2 different scrapers you can get. And you're just gonna run this over the transfer tape, across the design. I'm just kind of doing a smooth, firm motion. Again, you wanna make sure that you get rid of all those air bubbles, because the next step, we are going to remove the backer from the vinyl so that the design is stuck on the transfer tape. I'm not gonna actually apply the labels like this. They're all gonna go in individual jars. So I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm just gonna cut these and carefully go around the coffee bean. It's got a little tight there, it's fine. I'm gonna do my coffee in this one because I usually buy coffee in a 1-pound bag, and I'm gonna wanna keep it probably in an appropriate sized jar. Now, here's the thing. When I'm applying to a curved surface, you can see that it rolls. Oh, get back here, come on. We're just gonna use 2 different objects. And if you're anything like me, you also have 2 objects. 2 little pieces of tape, boom, like that, just to stabilize it. I'm gonna do my coffee label right here. I actually lucked out on this one because my transfer tape goes over the backer, so I can just easily start to lift this up. And as I lift it up, I can start to see and make sure that every part of my design is coming up with it. So far, so good. All right. You can choose to get a ruler or some measuring tape or something and draw a straight line and try to make this perfectly centered. If you want, that's fine. I just like to eyeball it, and I use my own little method called the taco method, which means, first of all, you make this into the shape of a taco. Also, taco is an acronym. Touch and carefully overlay. The taco method, talk about it. I'm debating whether or not to make an R&B song called that. But, so I'm just gonna take the center of this and I'm gonna push it down, and I'm eyeballing it. Looks pretty straight to me. And I'm just gonna curve that down like that. Okay. I haven't really adhered it yet, so if you find that it's a little crooked or something, you can just carefully lift it back up and reapply. This looks pretty good to me. So I'm just gonna take my finger and I'm just gonna run this on the actual vinyl and apply it to the jar. Girl, you wanna talk about it? Or we can get coffee, you're fine. Every day is Taco Tuesday if you're brave enough. Like I said, I'm just taking my fingers and my thumb and just kind of pushing this on here. Some people use the spatula. I find with curved surfaces, you probably get a better effect with direct pressure from your finger. This is so easy that you can use pretty much any method you want to apply. I just find this is probably the best. And I'm just taking the edge of the transfer tape, and see here the E's starting to come up a little bit. I'm just gonna take that and again, massage with my finger, and voila, it's applied. Same thing with this E, just push down the top and bottom here of this letter. Looks like it's staying on. Boom. Nailed it. I think that looks pretty good. Here we have my first jar complete. Personalized label. I picked out this design, I cut it out myself, and it was super easy. I'm not that experienced as a crafter, and this was super fun. This is super easy. And I was able to do it because of Cricut. Cricut makes anything possible, and you can make whatever you want. So the only limit is your imagination.